welcome to 9 p.m. English news for you into your live by Télédjibouti Chaine. Djibouti, Kazakhstan, Islamic Finance, the head of state, received the gift awards. International news: Senegal government, Senegal Prime Minister Mohamed Boun Abdallah resigned. That was the headlines, and now welcome to the national news. In the framework of his working visit to Astana in Kazakhstan, the President of the Republic, His Excellency met this Wednesday, 6 September 2017, with the President of the Republic of Kazakhstan, His Excellency Nursultan Nazarbayev. The discussion between the two leaders were held in the presence of the respective delegations which accompanied them. The ways and means to increase the level of exchange and cooperation between the two countries and people, as well as the identification of a partnership win for the two nations, have been on the meaning of the discussions. Djibouti and Kazakhstan lumped a significant number of values and common identity to endorse all the active partnerships. The implementation of village partnership with the Kazakhstan is aided for Djibouti to its policy aim to diversify and increase its permanent economic partnerships. The two leaders have expressed their desire to continue the consolidate and strengthen the good relation bilateral policy. The award ceremony of the Trophy of Global Islamic Finance Award took place this Wednesday, 6 September 2017, at the new Hilton Astana, Kazakhstan, in which the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail is the guest of honor. The President of the Republic received this trophy by the hands of his counterpart, the President of the Republic of Kazakhstan, for its impressive effort in the promotion of Islamic finance. It is an effect at the origin of the outbreak of the banking system in Djibouti, which has enabled to emerge an opinion multiple of raised banks by the Islamic finance. It is also acquired this reputation of Islamic supporter of the promotion of Islamic finance when he made our country a privileged platform and a high place of the appointment of meeting and conference of Islamic finance. The President of the Republic has been chosen for this award by the international community, who selected all years personality, institutions, academic and researchers who have the most ever has the promotion of Islamic finance. The President of the Republic has won the best prize, which is the supreme prize that this committee of organization distributes each year to the whole of the actors of the Islamic finance. Islamic finance is a financial system that operates according to the Islamic law, Sharia. The Islamic finance industry and theory of the Islamic economy attract more and more of international banks. This ceremony was organized by the International Financial Center of Astana. It is a centenary award ceremony of the trophy for the distinguished head of state who had done show excellence in Islamic finance. A large number of eminent personalities, and affairs, as well as the delegation accompanying the head of state, took part to celebrate the success of the Bank of Islamic Finance in one of the most dynamic cities in the region of Central Asia. A warm welcome was extended to the head of state during his visit of Africa, both this prevalent instinct to prevent the African continent's cultural diversity and all its potential economy, including tourism. The President has visited all African
to you, Mr. President, and to the brotherly people of Kazakhstan for the warm welcome and gracious hospitality extended to me and my delegation since our arrival in this beautiful city of Astana. I am honored to receive the prestigious Global Islamic Finance Award for 2017. It is a great recognition for my country. I cannot bear the merit of this award alone, as it is the result of many years of steady work done with passion by many public institutions, private investors and businessmen, as well as multilateral finance institutions, all convinced that Islamic finance is useful and effective for the economic development of the Republic of Djibouti. Therefore, I would like to express our profound gratitude to the Awards Committee. Mr. Chairman, distinguished members of the committee, your decision to recognize our albeit modest contribution to the development of the Islamic finance is not only an honor, but first and foremost a challenge for us to do more in this endeavor. Ladies and gentlemen, at a time when Islam and our Ummah are attacked and our faith is disparaged by the false claims of criminals, it is crucial to proudly point out one of the many areas in which Islam excels. This area is Islamic finance, which has over the last few decades evolved considerably and is now at the forefront of innovation. The Islamic finance owes its success to its core values and principles of operations based on Sharia law, which protect it against shocks and crises. Furthermore, the linkage with the real economy and the competitiveness of Islamic banks and their innovative financial products are the reasons behind their remarkable performance. These core values have sheltered the Islamic finance against the 2008 financial crisis, and they are building its strength and attractiveness well beyond the Islamic world. This is to express how much these virtuous principles, drawn from the Holy Quran and our sacred scriptures that are the cornerstone of the Islamic financial industry, are noble and right. However, beyond its profound ethical values, Islamic finance also owes its success to tireless efforts and tremendous works of men and women, decision makers, experts, and practitioners in our great Islamic financial community, represented by the eminent personalities gathered here. We have proven that finance can be reconciled with ethics, and that Islam is not incompatible with the business world, and thanks to your initiatives, Islamic finance has become a secure and qualitative feature that everybody is now looking for. Distinguished participants, the Republic of Djibouti is a small country with less than 1 million and limited natural resources. But the infinite grace of Allah places my country on one of the most strategic sea routes at the confluence of 3 continents. Strengthened by this blessing, we are committed to transforming Djibouti into a strategic, commercial and financial hub. We translated this ambition into our development program entitled Djibouti Vision 2035. This program is a long-term vision with the objective to build the architecture of a long-lasting and harmonious economic and social development by 2035. In this regard, we are taking all the necessary steps to endow our country with the most modern and the most competitive infrastructures in the area of transportation and communication. Our objective is to translate the strategic position of Djibouti on the world map into an optimal source of sustainable growth, jobs and wealth. With the support of our friends and development partners who trust us, who know how promising the economic development of our continent is, we are confident we will reach our goals and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, promoting an effective, robust and sound financial system is the second pillar of our development strategy. Therefore, we undertook important reforms that have allowed a deep transformation of our financial sector, attracting companies and promoting diversified financial activities and products. Thus, the financial sector of our economy has evolved from 2 commercial banks and 5 financial auxiliaries in 2006 to 34 financial institutions. Today, the range of financial supply includes all types of financial products and services capable of meeting all kinds of demand emanating from local and sub-regional markets. It is against this backdrop that Islamic finance appeared in Djibouti as the youngest form of finance. The first Islamic bank having been established only in 2006, and since then the number of Islamic financial institutions has been growing steadily. In this environment, the Islamic Bank, currently 3 out of 11 banks, have adapted quickly, consolidated their market shares and grown their activities, supported by the effectiveness of their ability to penetrate the market as well as their propensity to innovate. These good results and the strong perspectives have incited the interest of many conventional banks in Islamic finance as they consider opening their own branch in Islamic finance.
The head of state in his speech after underlining the Republic of Djibouti and its contents with Islamic finance, he emphasized the willingness of the government has fostered and promoted the business agreement to increase the performance and the Islamic institution in the country. More details, let's listen to his speech.
To fully support and continuously deepen the expansion and the influence of our financial market, it is our duty as policymakers to create a business environment that is attractive and convenient by putting in place adequate policies and reforms. Our efforts in this regard have allowed us to design and implement specific rules and regulations for Islamic banks operating in Djibouti, as we did for conventional banks. This regulatory framework has been supplemented in 2016 by the creation of National Committee of the Sharia Law, composed of experts in Islamic laws and Islamic finance. This committee oversees the surveillance of the regularity and conformity of Islamic finance products to Sharia laws in the Republic of Djibouti. The anchoring of Islamic finance in the financial landscape of Djibouti is now accomplished both among professional and individual customers. The success and remarkable performance of the Islamic banks contribute to the expansion and the development of our financial sector, and they are confirming that we were correct in our strategic choice. So Djibouti, land of Islam and commercial crossroad between Africa and Asia, has positioned itself as the natural place for the expansion of Islamic banking into the whole of Africa. In this capacity, the African Summit of Islamic Finance that we organize each year in our country since 2012 is the expression of this willingness to promote the development of finance, Islamic finance in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, we want for Djibouti a viable and sustainable Islamic finance, a modern and sophisticated finance based on Sharia laws and supportive of the productive investments with the diverse needs of our business. We also want an Islamic finance that meets all the aspirations of the poorest people in our country. This is because, like the rest of the continent, we are still facing many challenges, especially in social development and the financing of our economies, despite a rapid and sustained growth and the progress made in human development throughout the continent. Much remains to be done to alleviate poverty and social exclusion in many African countries. One way to achieve that is through financial access for all and the deepening of our financial markets. I firmly believe that because of its solid ethical background, Islamic finance can be the right tool to achieve that. In addition, we need to invest massively in strategic sectors of our economies such as infrastructure, energy, industry, water, etc. For that to happen, the current strong expansion of Islamic finance in the world and the important resources from the Islamic financial funds that come with it appear to be one of the most appropriate solutions to our financing needs. The solutions offered by Islamic finance are not just accessory or complementary. They are effective and adapted to our needs and to our spiritual and moral principles. In fact, the virtue in trade, the prohibition of riba or charging interest on loan, the prevention of speculative behaviors, and the financing of the production are the core values that any developing economy such as ours needs. However, our impression is that the delay that Africa is now experiencing regarding development of Islamic finance is detrimental, considering the growing interest shown by the Western countries for this kind of finance. The penetration rate of Islamic finance in Africa is still low, whereas the continent's exceptional potential continues to attract more and more conventional interest. It is therefore urgent for the continent to catch up and adapt its financial industry to benefit from the much needed financial windfall to boost its economy and strengthen its development process. Our countries are in dire need of alternative financing, and I call upon international Islamic finance institutions to partner with us and further grasp the excellent investment and business opportunities that our continent is offering. This is a battle we must fight together for a better world, and it is at the core of our religion. May the Almighty Allah grant us His grace and blessing. Ameen. Thank you for your attention.
The Governor of Central Bank, Ahmed Usman, has an interview given to the Djiboutian radio television overall talk about the global Islamic finance. He said this event gathered the icons of the Islamic finance institution, number of top government officials from the GCC and the Central Asia Bank governors, large number of distinguished delegates from the countries comprising the Gulf Cooperation Council and another part of the world. The President of the National Assembly, Mr. Mohammed Ali Hamad, has received this Wednesday, 6 September 2017, the National Representative of the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner of Human Rights, the Honorable Mr. Wani Kolom. With the overhaul, the interview was held at the Hall of Honor of the National Assembly and the presence of the senior executive of the institution and the senior representative of the United Nations system. On the day of today, the National Assembly worked hard with its partners to develop a strategic plan in the medium or long term in order to promote democracy and strengthen the rule of law, as well as the respect of human rights and fundamental freedoms recognized on the intercontinental level. In addition, the regional representative of the United Nations system has praised the significant progress achieved by the Republic of Djibouti in implementation of various laws in field of human rights. It is also welcoming the effort made by Djibouti in its management of the crisis of refugees fleeing the war. The Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, has received this morning in his cabinet Mistress Alicia Dinartin, the new Assistant Director of Mission of the USAID in Ethiopia, who is visiting for the first time in Djibouti. This meeting between the two parties, which took place in the presence of the main leaders of the manifold and important delegation of the USAID, has been the opportunity to make the point of the various projects funded by the USAID. During this working meeting, the Minister of Education and his close collaborations have had a fruitful and constructive exchange with their partner on the way and means of improving the different activities of the project of the implementation of the labor force in Djibouti, which has started since some time already.
It seems that USAID has a very strong partnership with the government of Djibouti, and what I've learned so far, I think we have a very strong possibility of doing a lot to help the Djiboutian people. I wanted to meet with the Minister of Education to find out from him personally what his perspective is on the relationship with USAID and on his ideas for the education sector. Where does he want it to go and how can USAID help? So I think I got a very clear idea from him of how we are working together and what our projects are together and how USAID can support the Ministry of Education in achieving its objectives.
The Secretary of State charged on social affairs has proceeded this morning at the place of the people of the visual launch of the project monetary transfer via mobile phone. It is a project of food assistance intended for the poorest families, whose main objective is to reduce the food insecurity of household and the more necessity. In close cooperation with the Ministry of Communication and the WFP, the Secretary of State for Social Affairs has for the 60 consecutive years launching this morning the ESA project, to which for this year 2017 has already targeted of the inhabitant of the two communes of Belbela, Belaus, and member of 400,000 persons, as well as each of these families will provide from an assistance financial. In his official speech on this occasion of the ceremony, the Minister of Telecommunication, Abdi Yusuf Suge, is welcoming the close collaboration between the Department of the Communication and the Secretary of State for Social Affairs, as well as the collaboration between the WFP and world in the fight against extreme poverty. During his closing speech of the ceremony, the official launch of the project monetary transfer via mobile phone, the Secretary of State for Social Affairs, Mr. Samuna Usman Adan, has indicated that the expected objective of this project is to reduce in a specific manner the food insecurity to the windows of Jewish households. Also, for their part, the mother and families benefit. This house ceremony have all thank the Secretary for Social Affairs for this program of food aid. The program for the mobilization of surplus water initiated by the head of state in the framework of Indies in 2006 has had an impact very positive and has been an alternative to improve access to water in rural area. After Opog and the team of the Department of Agriculture was yesterday Paris meeting in the afternoon in the region of the Tujura More, especially in the area of Bodadora with Ethiopia, with a high concentration of hydraulic structure of the distortion and the interest tanks for a response to the serious problem faced by the water in this area, very arid and dry. The Minister of Agriculture, through the project Promise and Production, has made dozens of hydraulic work in this sector is very frequented by the Numidia and their livestock. A representative of the beneficiary in the area of Dora, Mr. Mohammed Abdullah, has stressed that the population of Dora thank the President of the Republic, who has made a favorable impact for the supply of water. The beneficiaries aspire to manage themselves the hydraulic work under supervision of the regional council. The population has been sensitized on this approach by the Minister of the Decentralization. And the regional news, speaking at the conclusion of a 4-day visit to Ethiopia, including to the drought-stricken Somali region, the head of the United Nations Food Agency made each one a call of greater investment along team activities that strengthen people's resilience to drought and to the impact of climate shock.
The heads of 3 big UN food organizations are concerned about the escalating hunger crisis in Ethiopia. The Director General of Food and Agriculture Organization, the Presidents of International Fund for Agricultural Development, and Director of the World Food Program made a joint visit to the country. They went to Ethiopia, Tigray, and the drought-affected regions. The rain have failed for 3 consecutive years, and more than 8.5 million Ethiopians are in need of emergency humanitarian assistance. Though they were impressed by how Ethiopia is handling the impact of the drought, the food agency chief have urged for more funding to address its root cause of the hunger crisis. Back-to-back drought have left at least 8.5 million people in need of food aid. And in the Somali region, rain have failed for the 3rd consecutive year. The death of many livestock had caused a breakdown in pastoral livelihood, contributing to soaring hunger level and alarming increase in malnutrition rates.
And major news from the African continent now in Senegal, a month after the massive victory of the majority in the legislative election. Prime Minister Mohamed Boun Abdallah Dionne presented his resignation earlier in the afternoon and was not reappointed by the President Macky Sall, who gave us a few days to decide. Say Mohamed with the latest.
The Prime Minister of Senegal, Mohamed Boun Abdallah, has resigned alongside his entire cabinet shortly after the legislative elections in conformity with the country's tradition. Senegal ruling party emerged victorious during the election, and President Macky Sall is expected to proceed with his 3rd cabinet reshuffle. Mohamed Boun, a former advisor to President Macky Sall, became Senegal Prime Minister in July the 6th, 2014. His resignation has been accepted by the presidency, and the Secretary General of the government has announced the formations of a new government in the coming days. The 54 years old is the 3rd Prime Minister that have served under Macky Sall after Aminata Touré and former banker Abdoulaye Mbaye.
That's it for tonight's news. Thanks for joining us and have a wonderful evening.